With your brown outline consistency, touch the tip of the icing bag down on the edge of your cookie. Press until icing starts to come out. While continuing to give steady pressure, lift the icing bag and let the icing land on the edge of your cookie rather than dragging the tip along the edge. This will give you a much smoother line. Do this all along the edge of your cookie in sections to make the cat's tail and hind leg. You may find it easier to draw the tail and hind leg on your cookie prior to piping the outline. You can use your scribe or a toothpick to gently scratch on top of the cookie so you can follow this line while outlining. If you mess up, you can wipe the wet icing off your cookie and try again. You'll see that I added some squiggles of outline consistency on the cat's tail. This is to prevent cratering or an indentation of icing once it has dried. Once you have finished the outline, grab your brown flood icing. I like to start slightly inside the edge of the cookie, pressing gently to get a feel for how much icing is going to come out with the pressure I'm giving. Then I push the tip to the outline, giving steady, even pressure, and go along my outline. With flood, you can let the tip of the bag touch the cookie. Again, go slowly and try to have your icing just touch the outline without going over it. For the cat, you'll want to flood in sections, allowing some dry time between so the lines don't bleed together. This isn't absolutely necessary, but I find it helps make the piping, the white details easier to have these lines established. I find one of the most common mistakes for flooding is not using enough icing. If your icing looks bumpy, you may need to add more icing. If this is going very slowly, you may need to cut the tip bigger or squeeze harder. You can also give your cookie a jiggle by putting the tip of your scribe or toothpick into the center of the cookie and giving it a little shake. If it's still bumpy, you may have icing that's too thick and needs a bit more water. After sitting 10 to 15 seconds, your icing should have a smooth, even surface. Once you have finished adding your flood to the cookie, use your scribe or toothpick to ensure that the icing goes all the way to the edge and to spread the icing out into those tight corners like I did around the cat's leg. Before adding the blue color, ensure your cookie is crusted over. This may take as little as 15 minutes depending on the humidity in your location. Using a fan will help speed up this process. You may also let the icing dry completely before moving on to the next step if you wish, but this may increase the risk of craters. With your blue outline consistency, add the cat's collar to the neck. To fill in, increase the pressure of your squeeze and move slower. You can also jiggle the tip a bit to help the icing lay flat. With the pink outline consistency, pressure pipe the cat's nose like a heart. I find the easiest way to do this is to apply steady pressure so the icing builds up in one spot, then slowly pull the tip at a slight angle to draw out the bottom of the heart. Be sure to stop applying pressure before lifting the tip off the icing. Repeat, angling the bottoms together. With the black detail icing, draw the cat's mouth, eyes, and eyebrows. For the eyes, I find it easiest to first draw the outline of the eyes so you can try to get them as symmetrical as possible before filling them in. To fill in, pressure pipe and jiggle the tip of the icing to help it settle flat. Then immediately use the white icing to add a dot or two to the top half of each eye. With your white detail icing, gently touch the tip to a corner of the cookie. Apply enough pressure to the bag so that the icing starts to come out. Just like outlining the cookie, you will lift your icing bag so the icing falls onto the cookie rather than dragging it with the tip of the bag. If you drag the tip of your bag on freshly crusted icing, it will smudge your cookie and the white will bleed into the brown. Add this white detail outline around the entire cat, adding extra details to the ears, whiskers, and the gingerbread man-esque squiggles to the legs and tail. If you're new to royal icing decorating, I recommend practicing the squiggles and loops on parchment paper prior to trying this on your cookie. You can also let your cookie dry completely before adding these details. Yeah, what you doing? Lastly, use your pink outline consistency to pressure pipe a second heart on the cat's collar. Once you've completed the white icing details, you're finished with your adorable gingerbread cat. Sit back and admire your work.